A community fight to save their ancient herd of wild goats. Now, campaigners are trying to stop a planned cull of an ancient herd of wild goats in an area of the countryside on the Scottish borders. The cull is aimed at protecting the local habitat. But a petition to save the goats has been presented to the local MP, signed by many residents of two villages. Our Scotland reporter, Louise Scott, reports.
For centuries, these wild goats have called the Langholm Moor their home. But the new owners of the land say the goats are impacting on their conservation efforts, and so they began a cull. The news caused uproar amongst locals, as it will reduce the group by over 80%, and it's taken place during breeding season.
We have just a handful of goats on 30,000 acres, and as you can see, there's trees.
David and Gail are part of the campaign calling for the goats to be a protected species.
85% cull back to 20 goats. It was horrendous because we don't see how 20 goats could sustain a herd. We know culling takes place, but just to annihilate a herd of goats is it just wasn't on.
They are such wonderful, charismatic characters that really appear to us to belong out in this environment.
Oxygen Conservation's plans for this land include the planting of trees, but they say the current number of goats far exceeds their survey from 2 years ago, and so they now need to manage goat levels to allow for the natural restoration of this land.
A petition which gained almost 4,000 signatures was handed to politicians today. They're hoping for government intervention. Oxygen Conservation declined our interview request, but said conservation was full of tough choices and this one hadn't been taken lightly. They added the goat meat would also be entering the food chain. With the cull paused, locals say it's time to rethink the plans.
They did cull the goats from time to time because they do get out of hand, but I seriously think they need to go back and look at their figures and their count.
They are in other parts of Scotland and they're accepted.
Been here for centuries, so we just don't feel that these people should be allowed to just come in and take over.
With new kids on the block, it's a waiting game as to whether the cull will restart or another solution is found. Louise Scott, ITV News, the Scottish Borders.